And welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben, and this is my movie review for 2011's Scream 4. As the new Scream is coming out, and apparently this one continues, well, Scream 4 continues the story, well, the new Scream continues, gosh, I'll get there eventually. The new Scream continues Scream 4 storyline, so I thought it would be interesting to revisit, as it's been many years since I've seen it. Obviously, it's quite old now. It's amazing how old it is. 2011. Couldn't believe it when I checked that out. So anyway, I'm here to talk about Scream 4, and if you haven't seen it, I guess there'll be some spoilers in this, but for the most part, I'm just kind of remembering what this film was about, kind of the moments that worked and didn't. So let's jump in. 10 years have passed, and Sidney Prescott, who has put herself back together thanks in part to her writing, is visited by the Ghostface Killer. So Sidney comes back on a book tour visiting her town that, traumatized her, which is the reason why she's written this book. Gail Weathers is with David Arquette's character. I think they're still married in real life. And it does feel like this town is a town that never quite ages. It just stays the same. It's always like the set, and nobody's allowed to touch the set. But this film starts off with like 4 beginnings. It's a really, really meta kind of saying, look, we did this, but now we're doing a movie within a movie within a movie. It's like Inception's Scream's Inception. I guess the first one might have been clever, but like when you get multiple layers in, you're like, this is just dumb. And that's how the film starts. So it kind of sets you off on a back footing, and it tries to keep it fresh. For the most part, there are those things that you like from the Scream franchise. You have your favorite characters returning. You have gruesome, gory, interesting-esque kill scenes, and it's all to do with how meta these characters really are now. The killers are. They're trying to use video cameras. It's all about the digital age back in 2011. And so they're trying to bring it to the forefront, and it's all about like who can see what on the video cameras and which rules they're going to follow. Are the rules still safe? And as they go through it, you're trying to guess who is the killer. And I think what this film does really well, like the original did, is it's pointing at every single person who is the killer. And then there's sometimes you're like, is it 2? Is there 3? Is there actually 1? Wait, is it that person? Oh no, that person's dead. I think that is the fun of this film. It's still directed well, still directed by Wes Cravens, so there are moments that will do jump scares, but in a way that when jump scares were good, and you still have the camaraderie or the team that eventually come together to basically survive. I love David Arquette in all of these films. I thought he was fantastic. Neve Campbell is fantastic as Sidney Prescott. So then you introduce all these interesting other characters, and you're like, well, they're the new characters, so it's got to be one of them. It's not going to be one of the original crew. So you put them aside, and your deductive Batman detective comes along, and you're like, is it them? And I think we guessed like pretty much 20 minutes into this film. I remember in 2011 going, yeah, it's that person. And then the end it leaves you with the, oh, I see how this is going to be left. It's fun, but I wasn't ever really scared. If you go back to the original Scream, that opening just blew me away. It was one of the best openings to a horror film. You really were on the character's side. You wanted them to survive. Drew Barrymore, she had a fantastic death scene, and then that sets you on edge for the whole film. You're like, well, this killer means business. And number 2 and 3 were kind of comedies, still horror, had great moments, and I really like it as a trilogy. But this 4th one just felt like it lost the horror element to me. It was more comedy in some of those very clever dialogue scenes, and so I always feel like it's a mixed bag. Even the critics and the audience kind of mix it there. The critics liked this one more. I think it was like on 68%, and well, at least on Rotten Tomatoes, so take that with a pinch of salt. And the audience was like below, well, 50 something. So there is a disparity there, and I can understand that, because there are moments in this that I really enjoyed that were fun. We had that great death scene. The others was like, yeah, this doesn't give me like the heebie-jeebies that Ghostface used to. So I guess it's a mixed bag. I would give it 2.5 Nicolas Cages out of 5. It was interesting going back and watching this after so many years. I think it still holds up as a film. There aren't many issues with it. The acting is still what you expect from this film. The directing is excellent, and the kills are gory. So it's not nearly as like a terrible horror film. It's not awful, not by any means. In fact, 2.5 is probably a bit harsh. I will raise that to 2 3/4, just under 3. Let me know your comments below. Which is your favorite Scream movie? I expect it to be 1. How would you rank them? I'd probably go 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm hoping that the new one is going to be great. Fingers crossed. Thanks so much for watching, but most of all, until next time, remember, Live Long and Tuesday.